Hi everyone, I'm Dante Ferrigno and this is Ferrigno Freedom Channel. Welcome back. I want to talk to you today about something that I get a lot of questions on that has to do with calories, but also about why I don't eat vegetables. I've tracked what I've been eating over the past few months and I finally realized that calories don't mean anything as long as you're getting the nutrition that you need. Take for example these omnivorous chickens. When they're in the pen, they'll eat whatever they can get their beaks on. Plants, vegetables, bugs, you name it. If they can get it in their mouth, they're going to eat it. But even they know what they need instinctively, and when they have a choice between animal protein or vegetables, they're going to go for the animal protein every time. As you can see here, as soon as we let them out of their cage, they go right for the area where they can find the animal protein, where they can find worms, where they can find bugs, where they can find the things that are going to give their bodies the nutrients they need. Humans are omnivorous too, which is why we see in the Bible and other places people eat vegetables, people eat meat. But I've not reintroduced vegetables in my diet because when I do, they cause me digestive comfort that I don't have on an all-meat diet. This is most likely exacerbated by 48 years of eating the wrong things and letting adversity become stress in my soul and body. Now that I find, aside from taking my spiritual needs into account, meat has been a huge part of the solution moving forward. People can certainly eat vegetables, but for those looking for a total body healing and weight management that's available through a carnivore way of eating, they're absolutely not necessary. With the various toxins plants have naturally though, vegetables are at best a backup food. Fruits can have their place as well, but through crossbreeding and chemical and genetic manipulation, vegetables and fruits that were once only available seasonally are now available year-round, and they're made to be sweeter. Think more carbohydrates, i.e. more sugar, more pest resistant, think more toxins, because that's how plants dissuade pests and animals from eating them. On top of that, most fruits and vegetables are sprayed with pesticides, and the land they are grown on is sprayed with chemicals that prevent weeds, etc., and that stuff gets into them as well. So when you eat them, they're getting into you also, causing all kinds of digestive issues. As Dr. Chafee has pointed out, our brain doesn't know what a calorie is, but it knows when you're getting the nutrients you need.
And something I've said before is that your body tracks nutrients. It does not, and it chases nutrients. It does not chase calories. Body doesn't know what a calorie is. That's a human invention. And we have receptors in our stomach that look for the different macros and micros, and it tracks up your brain. Tracks up your brain through the vagus nerve, and tells your brain, hey, these are the nutrients that are coming down the pipe. And this is why you can have food in your stomach and your brain just goes, yep, that's fine. And you just sort of, I'm not really hungry anymore. You haven't absorbed it. It's not in your body. You don't see, those sorts of changes yet. Your body knows ahead of time what's coming down the pipe. And it says, no, we can stop eating here. And if you're not getting enough, your body keeps eating. And this is why that whole fad diet of just eating a whole bunch of fiber in the 80s was not effective for weight loss. People got, fatter and sicker, and obesity rates just went higher and higher and higher. I think at the time they were around 8%. Now it's 42% obesity. So that didn't work. And it, just kept going up even in the 80s as they were doing this. And that's because they said that, well, you eat a bunch of fiber and it's this mass, but because you can't break down fiber and these things that basically no nutrition in them, or no calories, certainly, that you can eat as much as you want. It fills you up and it hits those stretch receptors and releases some leptin, and your brain goes, oh, we're full, we're fine, everything's fine. But people weren't fine. They felt miserable. They were always hungry. They were bloated. They didn't feel well. It goes down to eating disorders and avoiding eating and then being so desperate to eat something without some actual nutrition in it that they binge, and then they feel so guilty that they purge. And so that's where you see this sharp incline in these eating disorders as well as in the late 70s and 80s. So that's what was happening. Your brain knew damn well that there wasn't any nutrition coming down the pipe. It was just, you could have just eaten a bag of styrofoam for all your stomach knew. It's just like, well, there's nothing in here that's worthwhile. And so you need to eat something. So people are always really hungry. And so, yeah, I think that if you're not getting enough, again, you need protein, you need enough amino acids, you need enough of the vitamins and nutrients that come with those amino acids. And if you're not getting them, your body's going to keep telling you to go get them.
There are always some rare exceptions for people with meat allergies, most likely from a genetic predisposition or externally influenced by the introduction of toxins, but for the most part, meat is what people are made to eat. But then there's the question of how much to eat. People ask me this all the time. And my usual answer is about 2 pounds of meat a day. Some days it's more and some days it's less, because I simply eat when I'm hungry. I eat until I'm full, and I try to eat as few times a day as my hunger dictates to manage weight better, because the longer you can go between meals, the more your body can enter autophagy, which is great for eliminating excess fat, loose skin, damaged or malfunctioning cells, and all kinds of things. This also reduces inflammation and disease in your body, and you can have the body and physique you want to have. I tracked my eating for the past few months using a random app, just to better gauge my answer for people who ask how much I eat in a day. And the one thing I've learned is that the numbers that they suggest for daily caloric intake are almost always significantly higher than I need to maintain a healthy lifestyle. As you can see here in the weekly view on my app, it talks about all the different times that I've had so many calories in a day, and I'm always coming up short. Every one of these lines, the very top line on this bar chart, is supposed to be the number of calories they say I'm supposed to get every day. But I never go over that number of calories, and I always have plenty of energy. I don't have any difficulties with weight loss or maintaining my weight. I've been maintaining my high school wrestling weight now for almost a year, and I never thought I would be able to get down to that weight or feel as comfortable in this body as I do right now. So calories, meaningless. So once we put that baby to bed that vegetables are an unnecessary option, and an exception of cases of intolerance to meat, famine, or inaccessibility of meat, there's no reason to believe that a carnivore way of eating is not only a viable option, it's the best option. So don't get wrapped around the axle chasing after numbers, chasing after all the distractions that are out there, watching your macros, worrying about glucose and all these other things. Just eat the amount of meat that you need each day to satisfy your body's needs. Your body will tell you. You'll learn to listen to your body as you start a diet like this. But even when I started out, I don't know that I knew how to listen to my body like I should. I was able to just eat until I was full. And I found that I got full much quicker than I used to. Now, after over 2.5 years of doing this, I tend to not get full as quickly. But that's because my body is not consuming its own fat anymore, as much as it used to anyway. It's almost exclusively coming from the meat and fat that I consume. So maybe I need a little bit more. But even still, I'm not needing the numbers that this app is telling me. Keep it simple. If you're wanting to know how to do a lion diet or a carnivore way of eating, this is the way to do it. Just eat meat, eat till you're full. Try to have some little gaps between there, because autophagy is wonderful, and the longer you can go between meals, the more your body enters autophagy. Some days I even fast. I've gone as long as 4 days since I've been doing Lion Diet, and I never did a fast beyond 24 hours prior to this. I never even wanted to do a fast beyond 24 hours. I never wanted to fast at all before this, but I found that the benefits from autophagy have been great for my skin and getting rid of those troubled fat areas, so I still like to do it. Plus, there's a spiritual aspect to it that I find that really helps me to be thankful for the things that I do have. So I don't always talk about fasting on my channel because I do keep a lot of the spiritual side completely between me and God, but it is a great option if you're looking for health benefits too. Now, that's all I've got to say about this one, guys. I hope if you haven't tried the carnivore way of eating yet, that this helps give you some of the information that you need, that'll ease some of the fears that you might be having. And if you have been doing a carnivore way of eating, don't get distracted by all the noise, because just like in our daily life, all the noise out there in the world ultimately doesn't make any difference for what's going on inside your house, on your property, in your community. You've got to be focused on what's going to actually make a difference, and eating the right things, eating meat specifically, is a great way to do that. I'll see you guys next time. Vintage tradition. The whole food of skincare, a little goes a long way. Tallow from 100% grass-fed cows, cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil, as opposed to using chemical-based cream like this that I usually use after I shave. At least all the ingredients in here are natural. This stuff really does seem to go a long way. I like it. It's definitely soothing to my skin. Vintage tradition. Might want to give it a try. Vintage Tradition even makes products for the ladies. My wife loves the Pretty Girly Tallow Balm.
Because it feels really good. And it smells really good.
I'll put a link in the description for this. Try it out and see what you think. I'll see you guys next time.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?